What's up, YouTube family? Welcome back to the channel. As always, I'm your host Jay, and man, oh man, today we got breaking news from the courtroom. Now, hip hop has been on trial in 2025, and today we had none other than Cardi B. Now, Cardi B has made her way to the courtroom, now facing a civil assault trial from an incident that happened back in 2018 between Cardi B and a former security guard that goes by the name of Emani Ellis. Now, Cardi is being accused of assaulting and verbally abusing her back in 2018. Now, Cardi B and her defense team are definitely not taking this laying down, but Cardi's team is actually firing back, alleging that Ellis herself was the real aggressor. But before we dig deep into the whole situation in the court trial itself, y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. If you're not subscribed, tap that notification bell so you won't miss a drop whenever we drop with these updates, and hit that like button to help the channel continue to grow. Is Cardi B responsible as alleged, or is it something deeper when it comes to this story? Y'all know the vibes. Grab a seat. We finna dig deep. So day one of the trial started off with the alleged victim, Miss Ellis, taking the stand, giving her account of when she first saw Cardi B at the OBGYN's office. Now keep in mind this incident happened at an OBGYN's office where Ellis is the security guard on duty and Cardi B is just there for an appointment. But how does one person go from being a security guard to being a victim at a medical appointment? Let's dig.
You testified in this trial, that Cardi B cut your cheek, yet you stated in your email to your supervisor on February 26, 2018, that Cardi B cut you on the nose. Isn't that true?
Objection, misstates the testimony.
She put her finger in my face.
Okay, first of all, you have testified here today under oath that Cardi B, 7 years later, that Cardi B cut your cheek, your left cheek. Isn't that true?
Yes.
And you state in your report 2 days after the incident that she scratched your nose. Quote unquote, third paragraph, at this time, she continued to yell at me and point her 3-inch acrylic fingernails into my face, scratching my nose. See that?
Yes, but into my face.
You have to strike out everything after your death.
Over motion tonight.
And you were clear at your deposition that you had changed the story to Cardi supposedly cutting your cheek, not her nose, right?
No.
You specifically testified to that, didn't you?
I'm not sure I know what you're asking.
At your deposition, you specifically testified that you were not scratched on your nose that day, you were scratched on your cheek.
She touched my nose, but she scratched my cheek.
Okay, but in the incident report, you state scratching my nose, right? You have to answer audibly.
Yes, I'm sorry.
And in fact, you demonstrated at the deposition how Cardi B supposedly was nose to nose with you, but jabbed your cheek. Is that true?
Yes.
And if we could show that.
Now, according to Ellis, Ellis states that she just innocently saw Cardi B at this actual appointment. But from there, things quickly escalated. Now, Ellis testified that Cardi marched towards her, got directly in her face, and accused her of trying to record a private medical visit, which we all know is illegal. But that's when Ellis says things turned violent. She says that Cardi then became enraged, spit on her, scratched her on her cheek with a long fingernail, and even hurled racial slurs and insults her way. But here's where things take a twist. But here's where things get tricky. From that back and forth with the fingernail prints to the nose and to the face, Ellis claims that she was left deeply traumatized from the encounter. And because of the incident, she was also fired or terminated from her job, which she also alleges Cardi had something to do with.
You see in the second paragraph, I stepped out of the elevator and asked her to repeat what she said to me, and so she did, angrily putting her finger in my face and yelling at me. Do you see that?
I stepped out of the elevator to clarify.
And you told her, say that again, right?
I don't remember saying say that again.
And your testimony was that you and Cardi B yelled at each other for 30 seconds?
She yelled at me. My voice was firm because I was upset.
Are you denying that you testified at your deposition and stated to Dr. McKenzie that you were yelling and cursing at Cardi B?
I'm not denying it. I just wanted to clarify.
And as you were yelling at Cardi B and people stepped out of her doctor's office, one of them stepped in between you to separate you two. Isn't that correct?
Yes, because she was in my face.
And the people came out of the women's care doctor's office?
Employees came out from the 5th floor. I would assume they were from women's care.
And the woman who stepped in between you came out of that office?
I believe it was her, yes.
And you testified in your deposition that Cardi B spit at you after the other people came out of the doctor's office, isn't that correct?
She did.
Move to strike as non-responsive. And if
Why don't you just clarify the question?
you testified at your deposition under oath, you said at that point that Cardi B spit at you after the other people came to intervene in the argument, isn't that correct?
Yes.
And yet in the report, you state I advised Cardi B that she needed to get her finger out of my face because I had not did anything to her. She then responded by spit at me, that's how it's spelled, and as a result, I became angry and yelled out to her to leave me alone and go on about her business.
Based off of what was described from the victim with this incident, that Cardi B possibly or potentially would have just settled this out. But Cardi B's legal team definitely not having it. Now, attorney Peter Anderson pushed back hard against Ellis's version of the event. Now, the defense argues that Cardi only became upset because she saw the security guard while on duty holding up her phone, appearing to either film, record, or take pictures of a private moment.
A few moments later, I remember a few people coming out and trying to separate us. That's what you said in your email, correct? Exactly.
Correct.
And you stated in your incident report that Cardi B's nails were 3 inches long that day.
They were.
Your Honor, if we could ask for an admonition for the witness to answer the questions I'm asking.
Yeah, so please just focus on the question and answer the question that's asked.
Yes, Your Honor.
And the question is, you claimed in the incident report that Cardi's nails were 3 inches long that day. Isn't that true?
Yes.
And you testified at your deposition that Cardi pointed her fingernail at your face, right?
Yes.
And you state in your February 26, 2018 incident report, bear with me for a second. I'm sorry, I have a marked copy of this one, and I didn't bring it with me. You state in your incident report that she scratched you on your nose, right?
Objection misstates the testimony of the witness.
Now, the defense was playing no games. As you see, during cross-examination, the defense grilled the alleged victim on contradictions in her story. In her original report, she said that Cardi scratched on her nose, but in court, Ellis just actually testified that the cut was on her cheek. Now, the defense also admitted that a heated argument definitely happened, but they insist there was no physical assault at all, just a misunderstanding.
She put her finger in my face.
Okay, first of all, you have testified here today under oath that Cardi B, 7 years later, that Cardi B cut your cheek, your left cheek. Isn't that true?
Yes.
And you state in your report 2 days after the incident that she scratched your nose. Quote unquote, third paragraph. At this time, she continued to yell at me and point her 3-inch acrylic fingernails into my face, scratching my nose. See that?
Yes, but into my face.
You have to strike out everything after yes.
Over. The motion's denied.
And you were clear at your deposition that you had changed the story to Cardi supposedly cutting your cheek, not her nose, right?
No.
You specifically testified to that, didn't you?
I'm not sure I know what you're asking.
At your deposition, you specifically testified that you were not scratched on your nose that day, you were scratched on your cheek.
She touched my nose, but she scratched my cheek.
Okay, but in the incident report, you state scratching my nose, right? You have to answer audibly.
Yes, I'm sorry.
And in fact, you demonstrated at the deposition how Cardi B supposedly was nose to nose with you, but jabbed your cheek. Is that true?
Yes.
And if we could show that. This is the video of the deposition where plaintiff demonstrates how she was supposedly scratched on the cheek.
Now let's dig. Should Cardi have actually just settled this case instead of taking it to trial? Think about the money that she's actually missing versus the money that she's actually risking. Let's dig.
Did you take any pictures of your face at the time?
I did take pictures.
Okay.
There's several other examples where you testified that you took pictures, but somehow you just don't know where they are. You took pictures of the cut, that you supposedly suffered after this, or during this alleged assault, and you took pictures way back in 2018, but somehow can't find them. Is that what you testified to?
Yes.
And you testified when counsel was asking you questions that you decided you didn't want to be a security guard anymore. Isn't that true?
Yes.
In fact, you were fired. Isn't that true?
Objection, Your Honor. We discussed this at length.
Overruled.
Isn't that the truth? You were actually fired by Allied for acting unprofessionally as a security guard. Isn't that true?
Same objection.
Overruled.
Yes.
And in the incident report, you apologized to your employer, Allied, for acting unprofessionally and exposing them to potential liability. Is that true?
Was there an answer?
I'm sorry?
Was there an answer?
No, she's, I guess we need a
Oh.
report, but if it helps, maybe I can direct her to the second page.
Yes.
And after you were terminated as a security guard, you got a new job that paid more money than the security guard job paid, correct?
Yes.
And you said that you consulted with Dr. McKenzie, excuse me. That was because you filed a workers' comp claim, right?
Yes.
And so you filed a workers' comp claim against Allied, and that's why you met with Dr. McKenzie, correct?
Yes.
And you met with her in April of 2018?
Yes.
And you testified at your deposition that you told Dr. McKenzie the truth about what happened on February 24, 2018, right?
Yes.
So let's dig. Here's the big question. What do you believe? Was Cardi B the aggressor, as Ellis claims, or was this simply a confrontation that got blown out of proportion? Now, when it comes to the defense is definitely doing their job, poking holes in the state's narrative, and also exposing the witness on the stand with the inconsistencies in their story. Now, granted, this is an event that happened years ago, so it is safe to say some things may not be spot on. But a lot of different scenarios and situations can change, even down to the details, but the truth should never be changed, especially if it's an event that actually caused damage where you had to go get constructive surgery on your face. Now, is the defense actually showing that, hey, maybe this witness is up for a money grab due to the substantial amount of medical debt that has been accumulated from this alleged incident? Or is this actual victim telling the truth? Cardi is responsible and caused these damages. And what's y'all's thoughts on the witness contradiction in Ellis' testimony? Do they damage her credibility, or is this just part of a messy truth of a heated confrontation? Now, to be fair, we also have to take into consideration and keep in mind that the judge ruled on this case previously not to allow any of Cardi B's previous history to be exposed in this actual trial. Now, that was a huge win on her behalf because, man, in her previous history, it does expose some incidents where she actually had altercations or went back and forth or actually did end up throwing a bottle or putting hands on certain individuals. So with that being excluded from this actual trial, was that a major win for the defense or just another stepping stone for the state? Y'all make sure y'all drop y'all's thoughts in the comments and let me know. We will be reading and responding. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and stay tuned for day number 2. Is Cardi B responsible, or is this another money grab on a celebrity that the jury will see straight through? Did the security guard at the time actually violate her rights in Cardi B's space? Man, y'all jump in the comments and let me know y'all's thoughts. Remember, the greater the height, the greater the weight. And who's to really blame for both individuals' lack of professionalism on that day? Remember, this goes to show the life you save could be your very own. Until next time, y'all remember to stay vigilant, stay safe, jump in the comments, hit that subscribe button and turn them notifications on. And always remember, I'm your host, Jay. Gone.